Welcome to Property Banter by Pinnacle Buyers Agents. My name is Michael Ležaja. I was nearly paused there for a second, like I was going to forget my name. And it's just me today, by myself. I'm going to be talking about a client success story. This is a Rentvesting success story for our clients, Danielle and Joey. They've purchased 2 properties with us in the last 6 months. We've made them $330,000 in equity uplift across 2 properties. They've made 26.6% on those assets, right? So they've essentially doubled their deposit amount. They've doubled their money in 6 months. Now, 26% in 6 months annualized is 50% annualized, which is an amazing result. I'm going to explain how we did this in this episode. Let's go. Okay, welcome everyone. This episode is one that I'm going to enjoy sharing because I love doing this for our clients. Now, Danielle and Joey, they're based in Sydney. They've come to us by or introduced through one of our other clients that's been with us since 2021. She's made a great deal of money and she's always spreading the good word and talking to her friends and family and introducing them. And that's how we've met Danielle and Joey, through referrals from existing clients. And that's always the best referral. Now, they've come to us from Sydney, and obviously buying what you want in Sydney, buying the big family home in Sydney isn't cheap. So we've decided to go down the Rentvesting route, and we have kicked off their first purchase in an affluent part of Darwin in the Northern Territory. And the reason we went there is because it's got a 10 URSAD score. So the URSAD score is a 1 to 10 scoring system by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and it shows how affluent an area is or what sort of an income the individuals that are living there, what they earn essentially. So to give you an example, Mount Druitt would be a 1 URSAD and Vaucluse, Double Bay or the eastern suburbs of Sydney would generally be a 10 URSAD score. This URSAD score shows that this area has a lot of people earning good money. It is predominantly a family area. It has a higher percentage of owner-occupiers, and it is a good part of Darwin. So what we've done here is jumped in at $670,000 for this 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's not very old. It's only a few years old, and which is in line with our exit strategy. So when they exit this property, they can exit without having to renovate or do anything. They can literally just remove the tenants, sell the property empty to an owner-occupier, and that's their exit strategy. Now, what we did was we went to Darwin before the majority of other buyers agents went there, and we picked this up for $670,000. It's now worth $820,000 right now, and they've made that equity uplift of $150,000 in as little as 6 months, right? So that is a great purchase. It's positive cash flow. It rents really well. There's no properties there for rent, and the rents are skyrocketing up there. Vacancy rate's really low, good supply-demand metrics, and that's a solid property. Minimal maintenance, good rent, positive cash flow, exit strategy, everything in place. And we bought it just before that uptick now this year where, obviously Darwin's been absolutely crazy and been going up super quick. So they've made good money on that one. Their second purchase we've picked up for them, it's in Brisbane, right? We were limited with what we could buy based on their remaining amount of available cash to spend on the second purchase. We picked up a $570,000 townhouse on the northern side of Brisbane in Marumba Downs. Now, why I bought this for them is because it was $50K under market value. It was $50K under market value, and it was an under market value play where they made that on the way in essentially, right? So that $50K straight on the way in. I know that these are heading towards $700,000. And then, of course, with the lack of supply, the high demand, and then on top of that, over the last month and a half, this first home buyers grant has just really set that sub $1 million category in Brisbane on fire. And these are now worth $750,000. So that's $180,000 uplift in the last 6 months on that property, right? So combined, they've made $330,000, which is more than the deposit they've paid and closing costs on both of the existing, those 2 purchases. And they made $330,000 in equity. That's an amazing result. They've doubled the money that they invested. You can't do that in the stock market. And this is why I absolutely love real estate is because you can leverage. You can put down a 20% deposit, right? $100,000 deposit and buy a $500,000 asset, and you control that $500,000 asset. And when that $500,000 asset goes up, it goes up, let's say it goes up 10%. You make that $50K on the $500,000 asset, and you only put down $100,000, right? So it's about the leverage as opposed to putting $100,000 in the stock market, making 10% on the $100,000, you make 10K, right? Leverage is powerful. Good debt is the best form of debt. The other debt is obviously very bad debt. I'd love to hear someone tell me that a race car for $200,000 on finance is a good idea, because let's face it, all us guys watching this podcast have thought about it, including myself, and I've done it actually. But look, the point of this is the good debt, $1.24 million worth of purchases across 2 assets in 2 separate states, one in a good data set area at the right time, the other in Brisbane, perfect data, low supply, high demand, and buying under market value got them that initial kickstart of equity, right? So they're already ahead from day one purchasing this property with us, and that's gone up in value, $330,000. So $1.24 million worth of purchases are now up $330,000. So that's just under a $1.6 million portfolio now that they have. I spoke to them yesterday. They're about to go again and buy their next one. Hopefully we'll get that by the end of the year. And then they'll be buying their 4th one with us at the start of next year. This $330K has set them up. We spoke about buying 4 properties over the next couple of years. We'll have 4 properties within 12 months for them. I will never overpromise and underdeliver. I'll always underpromise and overdeliver, and that's what we do. Now, a lot of buyers agents out there love talking about the double-digit growth. We bought in a market that provided 10%, last year, or 15% growth last year. That's fantastic. But when you combine a good data set area like we did for the 4-bedroom house at $670K, we bought just before everyone was jumping in. The data was aligning. We jumped in at the right time. Boom. Equity uplift super quick. We went and bought under market value in Brisbane through one of our contacts, right? So they were 50K up already. So they were 10% up already without needing the growth, right? So when you factor everything that we've done, that's a 26.6% return, right? Not annualized in 6 months. Annualized is 52%. 52% on the total asset value or purchase price of $1.24 million for both assets. That is an amazing result. And this is the stuff that excites me. I love doing this for our clients, and I need to do more of these podcasts and these videos, but this sets them up. This sets up their Rentvesting portfolio actually quite quickly for them to now go leverage and buy property number 3, 4, 5, 6, and set them up so they can, in 5 years, 10 years, buy that Sydney property that they want to buy. And it's a fantastic result. And these are the success stories that I love sharing. I don't know what else to tell you all. I'm just super happy for them. And yeah, shout out to Danielle and Joey if you're watching this. But to anyone out there looking to Rentvest, it is an amazing strategy when prices are so expensive, especially in the areas that you want to live in. Take advantage of it. Use a good buyer's agent. Buy data set areas. Buy off market and under market value, and you will outperform the market just like we've done here. 26.6% return in 6 months. It's a fantastic result. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.